Derek Owen, no middle initial, RA11222074. That's my Army enlistment number.
I'm Joab Owen. Been here all my life.
And I'm Ruth Owen. I've been here for 53 years.
Joab Owen.
Okay. And your father was an
My
architect?
father was an architectural engineer. My mother was a writer, journalist, and poet.
I was born in Mexico, Maine. They say my mother was a gypsy. She traveled around with her horses and her cow. We got married in '62.
So how old were you at that time?
23, I
She was a
think.
baby.
You were born
I was
when?
totally
I was
in
born
the
in
cradle.
39.
39.
Okay. And you were born in what year?
31.
So I was
Oh,
old.
you're a lot
I
older.
was an old man. Well, we shared the common goal of teaching people work and different kinds of work and the work ethic, and realized what kind of therapy it involves. It really does work as therapy. Outside, gardening, raking, work. And it was working.
I worked at Concord Hospital for 23 years. But before that, I worked at the Feminist Health Center.
As after we'd had 3 kids,
Yes.
we decided, well, we could use more kids, help make the house, and we put our name in for adoption. We got notice of a set of twins that were up for adoption. Anyway, they were mixed color, and they were in North Carolina. And we went to get them and bring them back, and they became part of our household. We named Michelle and Raquel.
Okay.
Those are the names they came with, actually.
Oh, really?
We
Machine
thought they'd
Rocky,
have
yeah.
enough changes, they didn't need to change their names.
The effect on Hopkins is, and again I have to digress a little bit. I went to Concord High, and they had invited a classical tenor to come sing, but there was no room in Concord at the Eagle Hotel because he was a black man.
Is that right?
That impressed us. My folks didn't like that at all. Anyway, as you see, there was a color boundary around in New England has for years and years. They were the twins who were black were having a little problem in town because they were the only ones.
Talk about
But the
that.
girls
Yeah.
had been struggling with being the only black girl. Oh, there was one more. Nevin
Brown was also there.
Brown was there.
It was not as diverse as it is today.
And they had been struggling with the blackness. And the girls, all of a sudden, within a short period of time, it seemed, were beginning to feel okay about how they were, who they were. And they both went on to college to Rocky majored in African American studies. And they really accepted who they were in a much better way.
Their history has always been to welcome people from any place in life, I guess, and any struggle in life. And we've had a lot of different foster children and
Exchange students.
Exchange students,
huge
yeah.
number of exchange students from Germany,
air
France, Spain,
Nepal,
Brazil, Nepal,
Kazakhstan,
Thailand.
Kyrgyzstan.
So we had those exchange students the whole time that we were all growing up here too,
That's what I
which
wondered.
was pretty neat and adding to our diversity and our world awareness and other cultures. Which was pretty neat for me as a kid growing up here.
I wanted to interject one
Yes.
thing that I was thinking as we were talking about the twins, and that is that we have never lived alone here.
Is that a regret?
No, it's not, it's just a fact.
Still have a lot of animals. Cows we milk by hand. We've always milked them by hand my whole life.
Who does
So-
that?
Well, the 3 of
Very
us
few
milk.
people now. He's
Okay.
passionate about a lot of things sustainable and environmentally, and some of the things that another great memory that sticks out for me is in this day and age, of course, he'd be sent to jail, but back then it wasn't, because we were coming home one day from someplace. I mean, I was Joe's age, little Joab, or smaller, in his old red International truck, and there was a bunch of guys up in the power lines doing spraying. John Brown, I think, is the company.
Yes.
And he dropped me off and went back up with his shotgun and
I've seen
chased
pictures
him
of
off,
this.
held him off from doing any more spraying, and got in the newspaper, and there was a big to-do, of course, and lots of activity. But that led to his involvement in the Conservation Commission. How long were you in the Conservation Commission?
20 years.
20 years.
That's all. I was involved in the Recreation Committee,
Uh-huh.
involved in recycling. We had an awful time trying to get recycling through. We finally convinced the town to override the selectmen's decision and start providing some money. I was involved then.
So you've been involved in every production of our town that's taken
Right,
place.
right.
In a very major role 3 out of the 4 times. This past summer, which is 2015, you were the man in the audience, the belligerent
That's right.
troublemaker in the audience, who asked about industrial inequality in his town.
Wow.
There's another part of your lives that we haven't talked about at all that was huge, was 20 years in the New Hampshire legislature.
That's
Wow.
right. Remember the fact that I had 20 years in, that's when I decided to get out after 20 years. Well, my voice was loud in certain areas. I was strong on conservation, strong against pesticides, herbicides. We were strong on long-range thinking.
You were on the agriculture and
My committee-
environment and
My
agriculture.
committee was on the environment and agriculture, yes.
Uh-huh. You represented the farming interests for this state, and
I was known by some as the only farmer in the legislature, and I was known as Mr. Hemp. I was called Rachel at one point, and
you were
whatever
called
the-
what?
Rachel Carson.
Oh, Rachel Carson.
Wow, that's an honor.
I was also known for the precautionary principle,
Yes.
which was, when that was brought up in some testimonies, people would all look over at me
And tell
as
what
if I
that
was the
is.
only one that knew anything about precautionary principle.
So tell what that is.
Well, very simple. Simply put, a precautionary principle is don't do anything harmful to anybody if you can find another way to do it. He says, you know, you're just like the Muslims. You like to share. And I think that's it.
So, good ending.